Hi everyone, my name's Natia, and I'm the Clean Energy Fellow at New Voices Are Rising. And in this video, I'm going to address the issues Antioch faces in terms of energy, how the energy sources used in Antioch affect its community, and solutions for how we can realistically make changes for a better future. Transitioning to clean energy is important for the health of Antioch's community. An overarching problem for Antioch has been issues like asthma. Within the East Bay, it is also shown to have one of the highest percentiles of asthma. And many of those living around these power plants are also victim to its pollution. Many having cardiovascular diseases or, as mentioned before, asthma. These health issues can have wider impacts on communities. But to understand these impacts, it's also important to understand what a gas power plant is and what are its alternatives. Antioch uses a combined cycle turbine, which is a form of gas power that utilizes both gas and a steam turbine. This cycle begins when natural gas is burned in a combustion chamber of a gas turbine, producing hot exhaust gases that rotate the turbine blades, generating mechanical energy. The hot exhaust gases from this gas turbine are directed to the HRSG, where the heat is transferred to water to produce steam. The steam is then used to drive a separate steam turbine, converting its thermal energy into mechanical energy, then to generate additional electricity. Antioch's reliance on gas is terrible for its community. Despite it being named a cleaner fossil fuel compared to coal or oil, it still emits greenhouse gases. If this form of gas continues to be used in our community, it might exacerbate our reliance on fossil fuels, contributing to the pollution and environmental degradation to the individuals in its vicinity. Looking at how other countries have chosen to redirect their energy sources can help Antioch understand the benefits of switching to alternative energies. Countries like Germany and China have been some of the top users of solar power, with benefits such as being renewable and sustainable, having low operating costs, and producing no emissions during its operation. Another country like Denmark is a leader in wind power, which has advantages such as having a clean and abundant energy source, having economic benefits, and being altogether cost-effective. Looking at the more health-oriented aspects of energy sources, as mentioned before, Antioch has one of the highest percentiles for asthma in the Bay Area. Gas power plants, even if they are considered cleaner, still release harmful pollutants such as nitrogen oxide or NOx and particulate matter. These pollutants have not only health effects but lifestyle effects. Many children, for example, who may live near a gas power plant in my community may not be able to attend school as frequently due to respiratory issues caused by prolonged exposure to harmful pollutants. The parents of these children may have to take more sick days to take care of their own respiratory issues along with their children's, causing families to lose money and therefore opportunities to seek assistance for their own health issues. There are various ways to show resilience against the environmental and health impacts gas power has shown to affect my community. One way I want to address the environment's worsening conditions is green infrastructure. Green infrastructure strategically uses natural and semi-natural systems to sustainably manage resources like water, air, and land, aiming to enhance public health, biodiversity, and climate resilience while mitigating urbanization impacts and creating resilient communities. Particular examples such as permeable pavement, green roofs, urban tree canopies, and land conservation are forms of infrastructure that Antioch can greatly benefit from. What I like about green infrastructure is how realistic it is, and how beneficial it is not only to the environment, but the community it's used in. Green infrastructure can also cool down my community in the summer, which can help those in my community with health issues by lowering heart rates, blood pressure, or shortnesses of breath. So I think the city of Antioch should consider implementing green infrastructure into their urban development, not only for sustainability and the mitigation of environmental impacts, but also for the quality of life of residents now and in the future. Despite green infrastructure being a cost-effective approach, I think it's important to consider already existing buildings and recreational areas, and how we can turn those places into more sustainable buildings using methods relating to green infrastructure. A particular place I wanted to talk about is the County East Mall in Antioch, which was once a vital mall that is now now rarely active. With places like 24-Hour Fitness and Smart and Final being the most accessible along the strip mall, this structure has now turned dead. Not only is it a dead mall, but a dead and very hot mall. Most infrastructure surrounded by asphalt with little surrounding greenery can have aversive effects on the temperature. This effect is called the urban heat island effect. This effect addresses how some places with an influx of human activities and the replacement of natural elements with heat-absorbing surfaces, like buildings and roads, can show notably higher temperatures than more rural places. Instead of allowing this mall to wallow in its sadness, I think we should think about repurposing this mall. By adding additional greenery to the building, such as a green roof that replaces the current empty roof, or adding more greenery alongside parking spaces, also known as bioswales, these empty lots can be rejuvenated and will help mitigate the issues of the urban heat island effect. Another thing I was thinking the mall could benefit from is the addition of more plants inside of the mall. Adding plants inside of this mall could make the mall have a more welcoming environment, along with the likely increase of light to help sustain the indoor greenery. And there is always the option of tearing down the mall, but it's also important to remember the amount of pollution that may be caused by doing that. Places that are already outdoor spaces, such as parks, could have more greenery, such as urban tree canopies, which can compensate for the big structures in my community that have no greenery. Going back to the gas power plant that plagues my community, it is important to address an issue that does not have an easy solution. To go more in depth about how damaging a gas power plant is for my community, the harmful pollutants it emits, such as carbon dioxide that contribute to climate change and is associated with health impacts like heat-related illnesses and respiratory problems. Nitrogen oxide, which leads to respiratory issues, aggravates asthma and contributes to smog formation. Sulfur dioxide and particulate matter both cause respiratory problems. The aggravation, along with the worsening of asthma, can overall contribute to cardiovascular issues. And as mentioned before, other countries have taken actions against using energy sources that cause the health effects as mentioned prior. Bringing an end to these respiratory issues Antioch faces now and in the future should be prioritized. I believe we should consider switching to more sustainable, renewable, and cleaner energy sources as a city. But the question is, how? A just transition is a fair and inclusive shift towards sustainable and equitable economic practices, particularly in moving away from environmentally harmful industries like fossil fuels. A way I think people in my community, along with myself, could support this transition from fossil-dependent energy sources to renewable is by advocating for state and local policies, mandating the adoption of renewable energies to sources such as solar, wind, and hydropower. More community-oriented solutions to accurately promote a just transition could include the City of Antioch hosting outreach programs to educate residents and businesses about the benefits of clean energy, including cost savings, job creation, and environmental sustainability. By encouraging these programs, more community members will feel included to fight for clean and renewable energy. These programs could also host workshops and seminars to provide information on renewable energy technologies, energy efficiency measures, and available incentives, empowering community members to make informed decisions. An organization called Local Clean Energy Alliance, or LCEA, is an organization from Oakland that has done much of the community engagement as mentioned before. They have a goal to create energy democracy, that is, just like it sounds, energy made for the people and by the people. They favor the voices of a community as opposed to the control of corporations. The creation of LCEA proves that the issues we face in Antioch are not unknown. By them speaking out against the harmful pollutants put into their community, they have been able to begin a bigger fight against polluting energy sources, even inspiring me, a person from Antioch, to speak out against the gas power plant that goes unrecognized as a threat to many people in my community. In conclusion, transitioning to clean and renewable energy sources in Antioch is imperative for the health and well-being of its residents and sustainability of our environment. By addressing the harmful impacts of gas power plants and advocating for a just transition to renewable energy, we can mitigate air pollution, reduce respiratory illnesses like asthma, and create a more equitable and resilient community. Through initiatives such as green infrastructure, community outreach programs, and policy advocacy, we can pave the way for a brighter future where clean energy powers our homes, businesses, and industry. Let us work together to build a city that prioritizes health and prosperity of its people, embraces sustainability, and leads the way towards a cleaner and more sustainable energy future for all.